Did you know that the average American spends nearly $18,000 a year on non-essential items? That's like throwing a $50 bill in the trash every single day. With the rise of online shopping and constant advertising, it's no wonder many of us feel trapped in a cycle of buying things we don't really need. Every day, we're bombarded with messages telling us to spend, whether it's a flashy ad on social media or the latest sale in our inbox. But here's the thing, you don't have to be a slave to your wallet. By understanding the reasons behind our spending and learning practical strategies, you can take control of your finances. In this video, we'll explore why we buy, how to spot hidden costs in our daily lives, and simple ways to make frugality work for you. We'll share tips on how to embrace creativity, shift your mindset, and invest in your future. Get ready to beat the urge to spend. This journey will not only help you save money but will also lead to a more fulfilling and intentional life. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Spending Trap. Understanding why you buy what you buy. We all like to think we're in control of our spending, but often, it's not that simple. Big brands spend billions every year studying consumer behavior. They know how to trigger emotional responses, like fear of missing out, FOMO, or the desire for instant gratification. Have you ever wondered why sales like Black Friday cause such a frenzy? It's because they tap into a scarcity mindset, the belief that if you don't buy now, you're losing out. Psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini calls this the power of scarcity, and it's one of the most effective marketing tactics. To combat this, start by asking yourself why you want to make a purchase. Is it because you truly need it, or is it because you're being pulled into the emotional story created by a clever ad? Studies show that 95% of our purchasing decisions happen subconsciously. One trick is to follow the 24-hour rule. If you see something you want, wait 24 hours before buying it. You'd be surprised how often the impulse disappears after a day. Another strategy is to unsubscribe from email newsletters that promote constant deals. Retailers know that showing you discounts frequently will tempt you to buy things you don't need. According to data from Statista, 44% of consumers said they make more online purchases due to discount emails. By reducing exposure to these triggers, you naturally spend less. Chapter 2. Invisible Spending. Identifying the financial leaks in your life. If you've ever looked at your bank statement and thought, "Where did all my money go?" you're not alone. Invisible spending is the silent enemy of frugal living. These are the small, seemingly insignificant purchases, like coffee, app subscriptions, or quick takeout meals, that don't seem like much at the time but add up quickly. According to a study by Bankrate, Americans spend an average of $1,497 a year on non-essential items. That's almost $125 a month that could be saved or redirected toward financial goals. The first step to fixing invisible spending is to track everything. Apps like Mint or YNAB, you need a budget, make it easy to track where your money is going. You might be shocked at how much those $5 purchases add up. In fact, skipping your daily $5 coffee can save you $1,825 a year. A great tactic is to implement no-spend days. Choose 1 or 2 days a week where you commit to not spending any money. These mini challenges help you become more mindful of your habits and make you realize how often you buy things out of convenience, not necessity. Try combining this with meal prepping or cooking at home more often, which can save an average of $2,500 per year, according to research from Harvard. Chapter 3. The Art of Delayed Gratification. Rewiring your brain for long-term wins. Delayed gratification is a key skill when it comes to mastering frugal living. In the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, children who were able to wait for a second marshmallow, delayed gratification, went on to have higher SAT scores, better health, and more successful careers. While we're not children anymore, the principle still applies. When you delay purchases, you give yourself time to think clearly and make more rational decisions. One powerful way to practice this is the 30-day rule for larger purchases. If you want to buy something expensive, put it on hold for 30 days. This cooling-off period lets you weigh the pros and cons without the heat of the moment clouding your judgment. In most cases, you'll find you no longer want it or you'll discover a more affordable alternative. Another technique is mental accounting, a term coined by economist Richard Thaler. By mentally categorizing your money into wants and needs, you can better prioritize spending. This process helps you focus on long-term satisfaction rather than immediate pleasure. For example, instead of buying the latest gadget now, think about how that money could grow if invested. According to the Federal Reserve, the average annual return of the stock market over the last 90 years has been around 10%. That means if you invest $1,000 today, it could be worth $2,700 in 10 years. To make delayed gratification easier, automate your savings. Set up a system where a portion of your income goes straight into a savings or investment account before you even see it. Research from Fidelity shows that people who automate their savings are 50% more likely to hit their financial goals. If you're finding these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe. This journey to frugal living can change your financial future, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Chapter 4. Frugal Creativity, DIY, Repurpose, and Innovate. To save big. Frugal living isn't just about cutting back, it's about getting creative with what you already have. In fact, making things yourself or repurposing items can be both fun and a huge money saver. Did you know that Americans spend over $9.2 billion a year on home decor alone? That's a lot of money going toward things that could easily be DIY'd or repurposed. For example, rather than buying expensive furniture, why not check out secondhand stores or upcycle old pieces? Start with small projects. You can turn old glass jars into storage containers or repaint furniture instead of buying new. Pinterest is full of ideas for frugal living hacks, and DIY can be a creative outlet, too. A study published in the Journal of Occupational Therapy found that engaging in DIY activities can improve mental well-being. So, not only do you save money, but you also get a mental health boost. The key here is to rethink consumption. Instead of seeing a problem and immediately thinking you need to buy something, ask yourself, can I make this? Can I use what I already have? This mindset shift opens the door to innovation. Even meal prepping can fall under this category. Instead of spending $10 a day on lunch, you can prepare meals at home for just $3 a meal, saving you up to $1,820 a year. Additionally, repurposing isn't just for household items. Think about your clothing, too. According to a survey by ThredUp, the average American throws away 81 pounds of clothing each year. That's a lot of waste, and it costs money to constantly update your wardrobe. Learning to sew or even altering old clothes can give them new life, and it's often much cheaper than buying new. Chapter 5. The Mindful Money Mindset. How to find joy in less. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that happiness comes from buying more stuff, but studies show that's not the case. Research by Dr. Elizabeth Dunn, author of Happy Money, The Science of Happier Spending, found that people are actually happier when they spend money on experiences rather than material items. This ties directly into the concept of mindful spending, where you focus on spending your money in ways that truly bring joy. So, how can you apply this? Start by cutting down on the clutter in your life. Adopting a minimalist mindset isn't about living with nothing, but about focusing on the things that add value. A study from the University of California found that reducing clutter in the home led to lower stress levels. When you have less stuff to manage, you feel more in control of your environment and your money. A practical way to implement this is by doing a no-buy challenge for material things for 30 days. Instead, focus on experiences, things like going for a hike, cooking with friends, or visiting free local events. You'll realize that spending less doesn't mean having less fun. In fact, cutting back can make you more intentional about how you enjoy your time. According to Forbes, the average person can save about 10–15% of their annual income just by being more mindful about their purchases. Another tip is to practice gratitude regularly. A study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that people who practice gratitude are less likely to spend impulsively. When you're grateful for what you already have, you feel less of a need to buy more. If you enjoyed this journey toward frugality, don't forget to subscribe. The path to financial freedom is just beginning, and you won't want to miss out on more valuable tips and insights.